At the last time it was seen was 5 p.m. The plane is suspected to have crashed. It has a capacity of 8 to 10 passengers. It was headed from Kitale to the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. We're trying to get that information for you. We shall be giving to you as soon as it gets to our newsroom. Let's now go to that Moi Girls school rape saga. And the entire board of the school has been sent packing following the incident. The school principal, Jael Mureithi, has also opted to resign amid heightened probe into Saturday's rape incident at the school. And as the Education Cabinet Secretary, Amina Mohamed made the announcement, structures around the school were demolished today, sparking protests from the owners. Caroline B. begins our broadcast tonight.
Last Saturday's events at the Moi Girls School in Kibra have elicited protest from, among others, parents, civil society groups and former students of the school. The rape ordeal coming less than a year after the fire tragedy of 2017 that claimed the lives of 10 students. Following the latest rape incident, the school's principal, Jael Mureithi, has tendered her resignation amidst pressure from members of the public. And she is not the only one faced with the axe. The Board of Management has also been dissolved.
I have today received a request for early retirement from the principal of Moi Girls School, Nairobi, Mrs. Jael Mureithi. The TSC has accepted the request.
The current Board of Management of Moi Girls School, Nairobi, is dissolved with immediate effect. An interim BOM comprising officials of the Ministry of Education and the Teacher Service Commission will be put in place immediately to oversee the management of the school until a substantive board is constituted.
The ministry made the announcement after it received the preliminary report, which cannot be released publicly until full investigations are complete. The Ministry of Education has declared a raft of new measures which will be effected instantly. From now on, the school will be guarded 24 hours by 5 armed police officers provided by the Interior Ministry until the probe is over and the report released.
The ministry has ordered an overhaul of the entire security system, including the replacement of all existing security agents.
All non-teaching staff comprising of cooks, cleaners, librarians and office messengers will be subjected to a fresh vetting by the Board of Management.
Following Mrs. Mureithi's early retirement, Ms. Florence Omusula, one of the school's deputies, has been appointed in an acting capacity until the Teacher Service Commission appoints a substantive principal.
In addition, the ministry has directed that all coaches and trainers involved in co-curricular activities must be registered by the Teacher Service Commission. Any private school that will break the rule will be shut down, while public schools will be dissolved at once. This comes as 6 teachers, among them a drama teacher, and 2 support staff linked to the rape claims were ordered to take a DNA test for forensic scrutiny. The ministry has also cancelled all visiting day plans and ordered a stop to co-curricular activities in 3rd term. Meanwhile, the National Disaster Management Authority embarked on demolishing all stalls lining the perimeter fence of Moi Girls School, arguing that they were hiding spots for culprits. Vendors and hawkers watched in disbelief as their property were being brought down. They complained that they were not notified of the planned demolition.
Hivyo vyote tunavitoa kwa sababu insecurity in the school cannot be compromised.
Sijapata habari lakini nimeingia tu saa hii, nimepigiwa simu nikiwa kwa barabara.
Tumeishi hapa miaka nyingi na hakuna kitendo kama hicho kishaitendeka.
The Ministry of Education has said that security cannot be guaranteed in schools due to the nature of the society, but promised to protect children in learning institutions. Parents have been directed to assemble at the school on the 7th of June to elect a new parents' association following its dissolution, while the students have been ordered to report back to school on the 10th of June before 5 p.m. Caroline B., KTN News.
Suspects in the multi-billion National Youth Service scandal facing fraud charges will remain in police remand after an anti-graft court denied them bail Tuesday. Chief Magistrate Douglas Ogoti said that the crimes were serious and could lead to anarchy and a threat to the nation. KTN News crime and investigative reporter Hussein Mohamed stays on the story tonight and has the very latest.
43 suspects lined up in the Milimani court Tuesday afternoon. From the Ngirita's family of Naivasha to the suspended Director General of NYS, Richard Dubai. The courtroom was silent as the magistrate read out his verdict on the bail application.
I find that the charges facing the accused persons are grave offences affecting the economy of the country as a whole and thereby posing serious threat to the financial health of the country and, in the opinion of the court, which can lead to anarchy, threat to peace and threat to national security.
Lawyers sat closely to their clients as the public awaited to know the fate of the suspects. The prosecution opposed the bail application, saying that the suspect could interfere with the available evidence. But the defense on their part argued that the clients were entitled to bail. But at the end, it was back to remand.
The court has put in place elaborate measures by the way of pre-trial conferencing to ensure speedy trials in these cases. For this reason, also bail is denied, as the trials will not delay. All parties are encouraged to participate fully in the pre-trial conferences and allow the trials to hit the road as soon as possible.
He said that though the suspect was still presumed innocent, economic crimes were detrimental to the public.
These actions lead to economic sabotage and deny Wanjiku, the common citizen, basic rights including but not limited to good health, education, employment, food, shelter, and leads to death.
The accused persons, ranging from the lowest ranked officials to top managers, are alleged to have conspired to commit fraud and steal 468 million and are expected to remain in remand until the end of the trial. The National Youth Fund scandal case now opens a new chapter as pre-trial conferences begin tomorrow and hearing dates as early as July. Hussein Mohamed, KTN News at the Milimani Law Courts, Nairobi.
Also on Graft Diaries tonight, the Kenya Pipeline Company is dismissing reports that up to 95 billion Kenya shillings could have been lost through fraudulent deals involving some of its top managers. The company's managing director, Joe Sang, has termed the allegations as malicious and meant to tarnish the name of the corporation. Addressing the media Tuesday morning, Sang said the amounts quoted far outstrip the company's budgets. Julie Owino with the money trail.
Once again, the country woke up to reports that billions of shillings could have been lost at the Kenya Pipeline Company to the tune of 95 billion shillings through corrupt deals. This has seen detectives sprung into action to probe what could be the country's biggest sleaze. And Tuesday morning, the company's managing director, Joe Sang, sought to respond to the graft allegations.
We find these allegations quite inaccurate, astonishing, maliciously calculated to injure KPC as a responsive organization that is currently fulfilling its mandate to the Kenyan people.
KPC has been put on the spot over several tenders, including the award of 18 billion shillings tender to a Lebanese firm, Zahim.
The issue about the Zahim being blacklisted is actually, I'll say, speculations and hearsay, what we all heard in the media. But at the point of evaluation of this tender in 2014, that information did not come to our company. And out of the 40 bidders who bidded, Zahim, and it was an international tender. In an international tender, which is open, the OKL, the law is at 48.4 billion. And that information is available for any scrutiny.
But if I may some of the tenders questioned at KPC, which the management now deny, are the capacity enhancement project of 2009 to 2010, which cost 15 billion shillings, KPC owned by an individual. Sinandet Kisumu pipeline costing 490 million shillings, fuel theft amounting to 950 million shillings, SCADA project which cost 8 billion shillings, and KPC illegally purchasing a 2-acre land along Nanyuki Road. 2 company officials have so far been sent on compulsory leave to pave way for investigations by agencies.
What we've asked EACC is to give us more information on why the search warrants. Why were they searching these officers? That is the information we're waiting for. Once EACC writes to us, in line with our staff rules and regulation, we'll then be able to give or to take disciplinary measures. But for now, to allow for full investigations, we've requested the officers to proceed on leave. That's the action we've taken.
With the ongoing crackdown on corruption across the country, KPC confirms they'll work hand in hand with EACC to ensure that all culprits are brought to book and thoroughly dealt with. Julia Owino, KTN News.
Julie Owino with the money trail and the reports are the Kenya Pipeline Company. Well, let's bring you that breaking news tonight. News just in: a light aircraft has reportedly gone missing. The aircraft, a 5Y CAC C208 Cessna operated by SAX, is suspected to have crashed at around 5 p.m. That's the last time it was seen. The plane, with a capacity of between 8 to 10 passengers, was headed to the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport from Kitale. We have fresh details. Deputy Air Wing Commandant Evans Ochieng has confirmed the incident, saying police are trying to get more information from the airline company on details about the passengers on the plane. Ochieng says that a team has already been dispatched by road to help locate the aircraft. He added that due to weather and because it is at night, an air team will be dispatched in the morning for such operations. We are trying to piece together the information. You will be fast to know as soon as it reaches our newsroom. The Air Commandant Cheng has confirmed that incident. A team has been dispatched for search and rescue by road because it is at night and because of weather. He has confirmed that an air team will be dispatched in the morning. We are trying to piece together as much information as we can for you. In other news, police and other government agencies on Tuesday seized over 2,000 bags of contraband sugar in a warehouse in Eastleigh here in Nairobi. And they intensified war on counterfeit products. The brown sugar imported from Brazil was branded as not fit for direct human consumption.
The brown sugar was seized in a warehouse in Eastleigh Section 3. It was imported from Brazil and was packaged in 50-kilogram bags. According to the police, the contraband sugar was seized after a tip-off by members of the public. 3 Kenyans of Somali origin are in police custody and are assisting police with investigations.
There are public servants deployed at all those entry points. And anybody who fails to measure as per the job description will be held to account.
And it will not be transferring. It's not just transferring that you move from here because you have failed here, you go to another place. It's not about transferring.
Though the sugar was branded not fit for direct human consumption, the unscrupulous traders are believed to have been repackaging the sugar before selling it to unsuspecting members of the public in retail shops. Police also seized a huge number of cooking oil. Patrick Amimo, KTN News.
Over 1,000 procurement and finance heads in public service have until Friday this week to submit all their personal data, including financial records, in line with President Uhuru Kenyatta's fresh integrity test. But as our Moremi Mwangi now reports, experts have warned of a likely legal storm over the president's directive for use of lie-detecting machines during the vetting process.
Only a day after President Uhuru Kenyatta ordered all heads of finance and procurement units in public service to step aside for a mandatory fresh integrity test.
Sharing with you.
This directive has continued to elicit mixed reactions, with the Institute of Supplies Management demanding inclusion of more officers to the vetting list.
To widen the scope of accountability, a mechanism should ensure that other individuals and organizations in the procurement value chain undergo a similar vetting exercise.
These corruption cases, it is no longer corruption. To me, does not qualify to be called corruption. This is robbery without violence to the country.
We would like the president to take this exercise further by also looking at all the officers within his government, e.g. the CS, PS, finance directors, and chief financial officers. D, the presidential action on corruption must be within the law.
In his directive, Kenyatta, through Office of Government Spokesman, had asked procurement and finance heads to hand over to their deputies and to present all their personal information, including financial records, to Head of Public Service Joseph Kinywa's Harambee House office by Friday 5 p.m., with a warning that non-compliance would lead to disciplinary action.
The procurement officers work in 2 ways. you have a deputy, and then you have a tender committee. So you have a multi-layer system, which is in the Act. So there are people who issue the tenders and open the tenders. They also are as guilty as the procurement officers.
All of us together, let us look for those individuals, whether they come from the opposition area or from government area or from whichever community. Let us fight them and make sure that it becomes all of us a responsibility to protect public resources.
But likely to ignite a storm is Kenyattas' directive for use of lie detectors, popularly known as polygraph measures, during the exercise, a move which former ombudsman and current Rarieda legislator Otiende Amolo argues could open a floodgate to likely labor disputes.
Polygraph tests are not admissible in court. So to what end would you be putting these results unless there's a legal framework that would enable you to produce them in court, so that even if you are to terminate somebody or to prosecute somebody, you are able to produce those results.
Those who shall fail the vetting will stand suspended.
About 1,000 public officers from ministries, government agencies and corporations are expected to face the exercise, which insiders say could be a launchpad to a wide-reaching purge in government before the coming financial year. Muremi Mwangi, KTN News, Nairobi.
Tonight, Cuban doctors who have been recruited to work in Kenya to offer a wide range of medical services will start to arrive anytime now at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. The doctors are part of the first batch scheduled to arrive in Kenya shortly after 9 p.m. Our reporter Brian Obuya is at the JKIA now joins us live with an update. Brian, good evening. Has that first group of the Cuban doctors jetted in yet?
Ben, the exact time when these doctors should be jetting into the country has been slated at 10 minutes to 10. So as it is right now, and as you put it, any minute from now, we expect the first batch of the Cuban doctors whom the government has imported to help in improving healthcare in the country to arrive. So as it is right now, they have not arrived, but we expect them to arrive here at that particular time, close to 10 minutes to 10 p.m. Now, you want to remember that it is that decision by the government to import some 100 doctors from Cuba after President Uhuru Kenyatta's visit to the country, to Cuba, that has elicited a lot of debates, given that these doctors are being said that they will be under Job Group S, and that is expected that they're going to be paid something close to 800,000, way above what their Kenyan counterparts are receiving at the moment. They're also going to be receiving special treatment, including security and transport to and from their areas of work. And that has really caused a backlash in the country, given and also given that one of the doctors actually went to court to challenge that decision by the government to import Cuban doctors. But now, Ben, those are the headlines. Here now is the bottom line. You want to remember that it's tomorrow's ruling. There's a case in court, and it's tomorrow's ruling that was going to be a defining moment on this contentious issue in importing Cuban doctors, a ruling that was supposed to be made by the court tomorrow. However, the state is set to import Cuban doctors today, when we know very well that a ruling that is to be made tomorrow was going to either stay that decision or to absolutely stop the importation of the Cuban doctors. So we don't know how that one fares on, and we don't know what exactly follows up, whether the decision of the court tomorrow could have an impact on tonight's importation of doctors who are going to be giving Kenyans a Cuban dose. We don't know how that one fares on, but as it is, we're waiting for that jet to arrive in the country, the first batch arriving at 10 minutes to 10, thereabout, and the second batch expected on Thursday, that is on the 7th, and also before their induction at the end of next week, whereby they'll be posted to their respective areas. But given that, already confusion and debate is still shrouding that decision by the state to import Cuban doctors, even as it claims that the country doesn't have enough specialists. And when it does say that, the doctors in the country say they have about 1,000 medical doctors who are unemployed. They have about 171 specialists who are jobless as we speak. So, and also given that they could be paid as much more than their Kenyan counterparts, it's unknown. It's unknown how that is going to help in reducing the costs as at large, given that close to 2 billion shillings will be used in that process. So, Ben, as it is, we continue to wait for the Cuban doctors to arrive in the country.
Brian Obuya live at the JKIA awaiting the arrival of the first batch of Cuban doctors. And of course, according to the Ministry of Health, the second batch expected in the country Thursday night. The induction, as Brian told us there, is expected to be done towards the end of next week.